If I wanted to build a six-figure health and wellness coaching business in 2026, here's exactly what I would do. And no, I'm not going to tell you to post more on social media, build a personal brand, or go viral on TikTok. Because honestly, that'd be a recipe for burnout, not a business. Instead, I'm going to share with you 3 things I focus on that actually create sustainable revenue without being on the content treadmill. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap to follow. In case you're new to me, I'm Nicole Piper. I spent 29 years building brands for Fortune 500 companies, and since 2018, I've helped over 1,000 health and wellness professionals build a profitable online coaching business. I've watched many of them break through to consistent $20,000 months, and some even hit 7 figures a year. So I know what works and what doesn't. So let's start with the first thing I do, and that's to focus on an offer that has proven demand. Not what I think people want or what I hope they'll buy, but what the data shows people are actively searching for, paying money for, and asking for help with. More specifically, I'd answer these 2 questions. First, is there real demand? So is there actual search volume, book sales, active communities asking for help? Second, what are people paying for help? Are they willing to pay premium prices? Are there successful coaches already charging $2,000 to $5,000 or more for their programs? Or is this a race to the bottom market? And here's what I do to get those answers. I'd validate real demand by looking at YouTube search volume, Amazon book reviews, Reddit communities, and Google search trends. But I'm not just looking at numbers. I'm also paying attention to what people are actually saying. What are they commenting about? What do they love about the books and videos they're finding? And what do they complain is missing? I also want to see what solutions they've tried that didn't work. This kind of qualitative data is just as important as the quantitative data. Then I'd analyze competitors, not to copy them, but to see who's serving this market, what they're offering, and what price points are working. This tells me the market is both real and profitable. When you focus on an offer that has proven demand, you eliminate the biggest risk in starting a coaching business, and that's spending time building something that no one wants and money trying to market it. When you do the research ahead of time, you're not hoping, you're not guessing, you're building on solid ground. Now, validating demand tells you there's a market, but it doesn't tell you how to stand out in that market, and that's where most coaches get stuck. They know there's demand, but they have no idea how to differentiate themselves. And that's the second thing I'd focus on. I'd develop my unique positioning. So I'm not just another health coach in a saturated market. Now, remember how I just told you I'd look at the competitors? Here's what you'll notice. Most health and wellness experts sound exactly the same. I help women lose weight. I help busy moms get healthy. I'm a health coach for stressed out professionals. And when you sound like everyone else, you blend in. No one chooses you because there's nothing that makes you different. Now, some people will tell you the answer is to niche down further. And yes, being specific helps, but doing just that is an entry-level approach. What you really need is to become a category of one. I have a complete video breaking down the category of one formula. There's a link to it in the description. But here's what you need to know right now. You want to find out what specific things people want that aren't being addressed by the options out there. That means looking at what your competition is talking about and what they're missing. And you want to see how you can use that information as part of your offer. For example, I was doing research for a health coach who focuses on thyroid issues. One of the things people are looking for that there's not enough information about is how to deal with thyroid issues if you're in menopause. When you find gaps like that, you find opportunities. Or for example, if you work with gut health, maybe the gap is post-antibiotic recovery protocols. Whatever problem you focus on, there are gaps in underserved areas of the market. If you create an offer that focuses on addressing those gaps, you have a much better chance of standing out. Then once you have your gap filler offer figured out, you need to work on how to position the offer. This is where you can add an additional layer of differentiation. You look at things like what the underlying problem is and why other things they've tried haven't worked. So sticking with the thyroid issues and menopause offer, you could talk about how improving thyroid function is different when you're in menopause. You're dealing with different hormonal issues, and if you use the approach that doesn't take that into consideration, it won't help, and maybe you could even make it worse. So you're creating ways to help people see their problem differently. And then you want to talk about how you're uniquely qualified to help people with this problem. It could be your credentials, it could be your experience helping people with this problem, or maybe you had the problem yourself. But this part of creating a category of one is about what you specifically bring to the table for helping people. When you do this work, your messaging becomes crystal clear. For instance, instead of saying, I help women with thyroid issues, you're saying, I help women in menopause finally fix their thyroid even after standard protocols have failed. See the difference there? So your ideal clients feel like you're reading their mind. They see you as the obvious choice, not just another health coach. And this makes everything easier. Your marketing resonates because you're speaking directly to their experience. Your sales calls are easier because people are partially pre-sold before they talk to you. And you attract better clients because you're clear about who you serve. Again, I break all this down step by step in my How to Stand Out as a Health Coach video. So you can watch that one next. But first, let me tell you the third thing I would do to create a launch pad for a six-figure coaching business in 2026. Because there's one more critical piece, and this is what actually turns positioning into revenue. And you do that by creating a strategic offer sequence. This is a value ladder that gives people multiple ways to buy from you at different price points. Because here's what many people don't realize. If they create one high-ticket offer, statistically, only about 3% of people will buy it in a cold traffic funnel. This is critical because in the health and wellness space, trust is everything. And asking someone to invest something like $3,000 before they've experienced your work is a huge ask. Most people won't do it. Not because your offer isn't good, but because they don't know you yet. If my only option is a high-ticket program, I'm asking people to make a huge decision before they've experienced my work. That's a massive leap of faith, and most people won't take it. So here's exactly what I'd create. First, a low-ticket offer, something under $100. I'd launch that first to prove there's demand for what I'm offering. It will build my email list and give people a low-ticket way to experience my work, and it would give me a little bit of revenue. Your mid-ticket offer goes deeper and qualifies them for the high ticket, and by the time they're ready for your $3,000 to $5,000 program, they already trust you. And the question then isn't, should I work with you? It's, how do I work with you? So this approach has some major advantages. First, it's lower risk. I'm not betting everything on a high-ticket funnel. Second, it's faster revenue. I can see ROI within weeks. I've worked with coaches who spent 12 months and thousands in ad spend before booking their first high-ticket client. With the strategic offer sequence, you're generating revenue within weeks, not months. Third, you don't need to invest $5,000 to $7,000 in ads to get started. Fourth, it's a fantastic way to validate your offer. So by the time you launch your high-ticket program, you already know it's something people want. In fact, you have a hot audience that's ready to buy. And fifth, it creates multiple revenue streams, so you're not dependent on one offer at one price point. Instead of throwing all your eggs into one high-ticket offer basket without having proof it will work, you have strategic sequence that meets people where they are and guides them to the next level. Okay, so let me recap everything. If I were a health and wellness professional starting today, here are the three things I do to build a six-figure coaching business in 2026. First, I'd focus on an offer that has proven demand. Second, I'd develop my unique positioning. And third, I'd create a strategic offer sequence. Notice these build on each other. You can't position effectively without validation, and you can't create a strategic sequence without clear positioning. That's why the order matters. These are three pillars that support everything else in your business. When you have an offer with proven demand, unique positioning, and makes you the obvious choice, and a strategic offer sequence that builds trust incrementally, you're not guessing. You're building on solid ground, and that's how you create a sustainable six-figure business, not by posting more on social media, chasing the latest trend, or throwing everything into a high-ticket offer that you haven't validated yet. Now, if you're thinking, this sounds great, Nicole, but I don't have time to do all this research myself, I hear you. And that's exactly why I created the Launch with Confidence formula. It's a done-for-you market validation service where I do all of this research for you. In just 3 to 5 days, you'll have a complete market validation report, a scorecard that tells you whether you can move forward with 95% confidence or if you should pivot, 3 to 5 differentiation opportunities based on market gaps, 5 complete value ladder funnel concepts ranked by probability of success, a 12-month strategic plan with a detailed 90-day launch sprint, plus a 60-minute strategy session where I walk you through everything. Basically, you'll get all 3 things we just talked about: validated demand, differentiation opportunities, and a strategic offer sequence handed to you in less than a week. This level of market research and strategic planning typically costs $10,000 or more when it's done by a business strategist. But by leveraging AI to do the research, heavy lifting, and using my Fortune 500 expertise in the strategy part, I can offer this at a fraction of the cost. If you want to skip the guesswork and launch with confidence, check the link in the description. So that's all I have for you today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos on building a profitable coaching business without the burnout. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.